This is the 7.5 inch working class zero battle shad in the Tesla color. I'm gonna kind of go over my preferred rigging method for this bait, show you little tricks of the trade that help make the bait last longer and maybe run a little bit different than how some of you guys are currently fishing them. The first thing I like to do before I fish the battle shad, I typically do it at home, but for demonstration purposes, I'll do it right now on camera, is I like to take a little bit of Mend It and I like to rub it in the front half of this belly slot. For those of you that aren't familiar with what Mend It is, it's basically a soft plastic glue. You can get it at Monster Fishing Tackle, Tackle Warehouse, any of them. They all pretty much have it, your local shop. I like to buy the big ones because I go through a lot of this stuff. So I'm gonna take some of this, I'm gonna rub it on that slot. So I'm just doing the front half of that slot. I'm gonna stick it down in there, make sure it seals it up good. And then normally, you let this dry. I wouldn't just go and start rigging this up, but right now I'm gonna just rig it up. It'll dry in the meantime. You just pinch it close, let that stuff seal up, and it will be good. My preferred hook is the 10-aught, half-ounce weighted Owner Beast hook. Trocars will work. They're 9-aught, they're 3/4 ounce, totally work. This is just my preferred hook. Not really sure why, I just like it. When rigging the bait, you wanna make sure that when you take that twist lock, you stick it right dead center in between the lips. You're gonna wanna apply just a little bit of pressure and start twisting it on. Keep that pressure there and just keep twisting it on. And then once it's fully on, it's buttoned all the way up there, you're gonna wanna make sure you hang the bait and make sure that it's in line with the hook. It's pretty dang close right here, so I'm gonna run it like that. Then I'm gonna go back in here, and now that that front half should be sealed, I'm gonna have to kind of finagle it just a little bit to get the hook point into the back half of the hook slot. Once you get it in there, you're good. You can feel that hook kind of rest against the plastic that's sitting up in here. Now, what I like to do, and this is the proper way to make sure the bait is rigged right, is I'm gonna grab on the back half, I'm gonna push it forward till I feel like that hook point is straight vertical in the bait, and then I'm just gonna simply push it up and out the top of the bait in that hook slot, and boom, that simple. If you start poking and prodding coming up through here at all kinds of crazy angles, you're just gonna tear up the back of the bait. You have to be very accurate when you're rigging the bait. Your bait's not destroyed if that happens. You just need to take it off, throw some Mend It in there, let it sit, let it cure, and then go at it again. You know you have your bait rigged right when the face looks like it's natural. If you end up with like some crazy stretch face like this, or it's all wonky on the hook, the bait's not rigged right. The hook point needs to come out right in front of the dorsal fin, and it needs to come straight up and then rest in that hook slot on the back. So right there, that bait is rigged right. The bait needs weight in order to swim correctly in the water. To add to that, how I almost always fish them, so I can get them a little bit deeper so that they run down at the bottom. I like to bottom bounce, I like to crash into the bottom, is I like to add some tungsten nails right up here in the cheeks. I use the heaviest size tungsten nails. I don't know what the weight is offhand right now, but I put one on each cheek, and then occasionally, if I'm getting real deep, I'll throw a smaller one right back here in this belly section. This is the tungsten nail size right here. It's the largest one. I'm just gonna slide it right up in there in those cheeks. So there's one, here's another, going right up in that cheek. You can push them in there a little bit further. I'm just leaving them out right now so that you can see them. There they are. There's one in that cheek, one in that cheek, and that is how I fish it 95% of the time. Fishing it in 20 feet of water, 30 feet of water, bounce to the bottom, catching fish that way, or I'm fishing it up tight to docks and I'm moving it through the water quickly. Just that little bit of extra weight right here counteracts the line pulling the head of the bait up, and it causes it to stay more true in the water. So that's my preferred rigging method for the battle shad, 7.5 inch, 10-aught, Owner Beast hook, half-ounce weight, has to have the weight, 2 tungsten nails in the lower cheeks on each side, just to keep it down even further. I can fish it fast next to docks and it stays true. A little bit of Mend It on the belly to keep that belly slot shut, not all the way closed. The back end is still open, but the front section is sealed up, so it makes it so that weight cannot go through. Just need that air chamber in here to allow it for it to collapse. It's all you need right there in order to stab fish, and you're good. You just grind them to the boat. Get out there, you fish it that way, you will have success, the bait will last longer, and hopefully you'll catch some big ones.